Boycott Asian businesses. Look, I know many people are angry. They think justice needs to be served. So they want to boycott Asian businesses. I know emotions are high, and if this is how you think there's going to be some justice, okay, I'm okay with it. But then when does it end? When is it, okay, we've boycotted Asian businesses enough, justice is served, now let's move on? I just personally don't think this is the solution. If anything, it produces more tension, creating some unnecessary race war. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Asian business owners that are like, what happened? Where's all my black customers? They're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to make money.
I would like to thank the Black people who have come forth and stated how useless it is to boycott all Asian businesses just because of one incident. We are not all the same. We are not all one culture. We are not our parents' generation. We are not going to call for a boycott of all Black-owned businesses after a Black on Asian crime. At least you're not going to see me doing that. And by the way, we don't claim this guy. No, we need to be focused on other things. We need to come together because I promise you it's a bit sus that this case received all this attention and went viral seemingly overnight. Back in 2023 when the incident happened, this was not on our radars. Now in 2026, when racial tension in this country is at an all-time high, now we hear about this all of a sudden. It's being covered by every single major news outlets who are run by the ones at the very, very top. Don't get me wrong, we should talk about these things. They are important. But I think it's time to talk more about unity because things seem like they're devolving into a...
Asian American businesses have been operating in Black communities for 60 years. I'll say it again. The Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, and the United States opened the door to Asian immigration in 1965 to put immigrants in the way of Black people. And this idea that the tension between business owners and customers is one of mutual cultural misunderstanding that could be overcome if they just got to know each other better, the time for that has long passed. And as I've said before, the problem with framing the misunderstanding as mutual is where one demographic owns the businesses and the other demographic has to pay. There's no mutuality. There is a power imbalance. The only situation that I could see being beneficial at this point would require Asian Americans to be willing to leverage their ability to secure the business loans, to secure supplier accounts, and to attain business licenses, to open in Black communities specifically to hire Black people to work in the businesses and to provide the professional development opportunities so that Black people can become the leadership in the businesses in their communities. But I don't have a lot of hope that Asian Americans are willing to do that because the Asian American business owners that we see currently are not even willing to treat their Black customers as human. So I fully support Black people boycotting these problematic businesses in their community. And I want to say that I think another thing that non-Black people aren't aware of is that it is not as simple as boycotting the businesses and putting them out of business and then opening your own to compete. Because the system will find ways to still not give them the loans or rezone them so they can't open a business or not grant the business licenses. And suppliers are literally conspiring against Black people who have managed to open a business in their own community.
All I'm saying is that if you are Asian, before you should even be asking the question about who gets to decide who gets to boycott Asian-owned businesses, we need to be having the conversations in our own spaces about whether or not anti-Black racism needs to be addressed and have those uncomfortable conversations within our communities. Because I have been doing this for years, right? Have you been doing that before you decided to come online and post a video being like, oh, Black Americans are such hypocrites, which they are not. They have a right, like they have an absolute right because we do have rampant anti-Black racism. And before we are willing, like we need to be willing to take accountability for that before we get to decide whether or not anybody should be boycott. Also, it's not even our decision who gets to boycott. Our role, right? And everybody has different roles under systemic oppression, and something happens, is what can I do in solidarity instead of looking at this situation as an us versus them problem? If you're still looking at it from the lens of an us versus them problem, then you are on Rick Chow's side. And I know that people can say like, oh, well, you know what, like I have such a diverse spectrum of ideas and I see things differently. But when it comes to systemic oppression in a world that is made to be black and white, then if you are going to look at this boycotting situation as, oh, you shouldn't boycott us, why should we have to pay for the sins of this one guy?
And so what if black people are boycotting Asian businesses? If that's what it takes to wake our community up, more power to them. And I really need on this app every business week and having to talk about some fuck shit that some Asian person is doing to black people. There's so many other things I want to talk about on this app. Domestic violence prevention, mosquito brains, because that's what I got my PhD in. My writing process and how I write sci-fi novels and how I write, yes, the small business that I run because I write those sci-fi novels. But instead, no, I always see some Asian doing some model minority stuff and then I feel a moral imperative to talk about it because it ends up in the death of innocent people like Cyrus Carmack Belton. I am sick of watching our country slide into fascism and watch the Asian vote be split because so many of us want to ally ourselves with our oppressors. And in my personal life, I'm tired of not being able to trust Asian people that I meet because so many of you would throw Asian people under the bus for white acceptance. And on top of that, a number of my friends are black people, and I don't want to have anybody in my life who is unsafe for my friends. Model minority Asians are unsafe for Asians to be around as well, and they are potentially lethal for black people. I don't want that in my community.
So what's going on, everybody? I'm trusting that you're all doing well today and you are welcome to the channel. So guys, if you follow me on this channel or if you have subscribed to my channel, I want to say thank you. But there's a video that I recently posted about, you know, the black people boycotting the Asian businesses and all that. So there's been a follow-up to that incident, and most of the Asian communities are actually coming forth and they are actually trying to seriously condemn the fact that some people said some things which they were not supposed to be saying. But then again, the question is, this thing has been happening from the beginning of time. It's not the first time or the second time or the third time that maybe a black person has been violated when they try to maybe enter into these Asian shops and all that. And even if you look at it like, we would say, like, even in terms of creating job opportunities for the black people, the Asian communities have not been supportive enough. But then there is this group of people who are coming forth. Of course, we know, like, not everybody is within that line is actually termed to, you know, say those things that are not really welcomed into the black community, or rather go against the human race, something like that. Not everybody is like that. But now the fact that one person keeps on saying that over and over again, showing some racist comments to the black community and maybe secluding them in such a manner that they feel that they are minority and nobody's gonna come to save them and all that. So we have this group of people who are coming forth and are actually trying to plead to black people that please don't boycott us, don't boycott our businesses. Let us come together and try to work as, you know, as a community, because you all know the history between the Asian people and the black people. These people have been coexisting since, you know, from 60 years ago until now, because even some cultures that the black community have, they're very similar to the Hispanic Asia communities and all that. So I don't know what to feel about this particular topic. Do you think it is really necessary for the black people to just, you know, maybe forgive, or rather maybe ignore and move on with their life, or rather maybe just because it was one person who actually made the bad comment, one person who made it not possible for other people to access what is there to, do you think everyone should be suffering for this? Because at least there are some people who have come forth and they're trying to tell you, like, the way the Asian people have been behaving and the way they've been treating the black communities, it's not really okay. Because if you check, also there's a creator who is saying here that the black communities have fought for the Hispanic communities, and also the support that the black communities have been giving the Hispanic Asia community, something like that, has been really good, like compared, it has been authentic compared to how the Hispanic Asia people have been treating the black people. So ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're new here, my name is Yvonne, and thank you so much for coming across my channel. And if you're new here, you're welcome to being part of my online family. Let me know what you think about this topic. Write your comments down below. Do you think it's that time that people maybe could sit down and maybe have a conversation, or rather this is something that has been happening over and over again, and at this point, do we say enough is enough? Until next time.